I was recently asked by one of my students, Dr. Demartini, how can you crack the fantasies that life should be easy? It's supposed to be easy. And I chuckle when I think about the answer to this. It reminds me of a statement from the Buddha, at least supposedly from the Buddha. I wasn't there when he wrote it or said it. But the desire for that which is unobtainable and the desire to avoid that which is unavoidable is the source of human suffering. So imagine that I gave you a magnet and I said, if you can give me the positive pull of the magnet back without the negative pull, I'll give you $1 billion. Well, if you're ignorant, you would try to chop the magnet up and cut it in half and give me 1/2 of the magnet. And then you would find out that by the time you gave it to me, it still had a positive and negative pull. And if you cut it again and again and again, an infinite number of times, you'd still have, as long as there's magnetism there, a positive and negative pull. Well, this is the same thing inside life. If you're looking for a fantasy without the nightmare, a happy without a sad, a kind without a cruel, or any one-sided polar view, you're setting yourself up for futility because they come as pairs. The unity of opposites, as Heraclitus described. There is in your brain an area that basically homeostats happiness. It's called hedonic adaptation or hedonic treadmill or hedonic paradox. And the second you go towards happiness, you automatically have a filtering mechanism to automatically calm it down to get you back into equilibrium, a set point between ease and difficulty, a set point between pairs of opposites. So the pursuit of a one-sided world is delusional, and to expect a one-sided world, delusional. And it's delusional to think that somebody has a one-sided world. And this is what I see very commonly. People meet somebody and they think, oh my God, they've been fooled by the facade. They look on social media and they see only the positive things and they don't realize the difficulties and challenges the person's actually facing. Life has got a balance of opposites. In fact, the more you infatuate with something, the more you resent the opposite. The more you infatuate with something, the more you fear the loss of it. The more you resent something, the more you fear the gain of it. And the more you fantasize about the opposite. You can't separate the inseparables or divide the indivisibles or label the unlabellables or name the inevitables or polarize the unpolarizables. But our amygdala, our subconscious, subcortical amygdala attempts to. It wants to avoid the predator and seek the prey. And whenever we're living in our subconscious, subcortical area of our brain, we're vulnerable for the fantasy of trying to get a one-sided world. And that's what I teach in the breakthrough experience, why I tell people to come to breakthrough experience. Because the people that are searching for happiness are the saddest people I know. Because they're expecting something that's unrealistic. And anytime you have unrealistic expectations, you're going to have a depressive state. Because depression is a comparison of your current reality to a fantasy you're addicted to. So if you go in and identify the fantasy and at that exact moment become aware and conscious of what you're unconscious of, the downsides and the challenges that come with it, and the opposite pole, you can pop the fantasy and get grounded in a real objective and pursue something that's obtainable. So I teach people that in the breakthrough experience on how to actually dissolve their fantasies and their nightmares, the things that they're infatuated with and resent, seek and avoid, the thing that the amygdala separates, and help you integrate it with your executive center so you can take command of your life and break through the delusions of these fantasies and get it. The purpose of your executive function of the immediate prefrontal cortex is to strategically plan and transform these fantasies into true objectives, where you see both sides. A fantasy is when you look for one side and try to avoid the opposite. An objective is when you embrace both sides simultaneously, mitigate the risks, calm down the fantasy, get grounded on what it's taking to achieve greatness, and pursue something meaningful, the mean between the two, the polarities of fantasy and nightmare, and pursue something meaningful with a real objective, which is a real accomplishment. Because most people have set a goal, by the time they got there, they go, wow, what I had to go through to get there. But the thing is foresight is knowing what you're going in there and setting real objectives and not fantasies. Fantasies like success are the thing that make the fear of failure. I'm not interested in a one-sided world. I'm interested in not fantasies. I'm interested in true objectives and ground yourself, because the magnificence the way it is and the way your life truly is far greater than the fantasies you'll impose on it. So don't be fooled by facades of other people. Don't be fooled by some of the hype that's out there that teaches you can be one-sided. You can't. Your life has both sides. integrate them, honor them, appreciate them, and you'll liberate yourself from the fantasies that you keep being addicted to. Our brain is designed to have foresight and to live with amazing achievements. It's not going to do that if we're going after that which is unobtainable and trying to avoid that which is unavoidable. So if you're wanting to transcend your fantasies into true objectives, come to the Breakthrough Experience so I can show you exactly the science of how to do that and let you experience it and teach you the method, the Demartini method, on how to dissolve fantasies and nightmares that distract you from meaningful purpose.